Hello everybody and welcome to today's epistle of lessons in Tanya Iggeres Hakodesh, Epistle 24. In the previous lesson, the Rebbe explained how the Torah study of a group of at least 10, or mitzvahs performed by them collectively, brings about the indwelling of the Shekhinah. He spoke of how even those who engage in the word of prayer sometimes spend the time before and after prayers in idle chatter. The Mishnah calls such a group a company of scoffers, since they are not studying Torah. The ultimate therefore urged a regular time to be set aside between Mincha and Mariv for the study group of Ein Yaakov and the practical laws of practical application in the Shulchan Aruch. In the present lesson, the Rebbe goes on to condemn those who during prayer services engage in mundane conversation, not only on idle matters, but even on matters that are necessary for the livelihood. Such conversation at any other time would of course be permitted. During prayer services, however, it demonstrates that the speaker has no desire to behold the godliness revealed specifically during that time. This insensitivity is depicted by a parable from the Zohar. For years on end, a terrestrial king hides his majestic splendor behind locked doors. Those of his subjects who have the discernment to value that splendor eagerly wait there for years on end until they are granted a glimpse of it. Others are so foolish and so brazen that they show no interest. For the time of prayer is a precious time below, echoing a propitious time above. Above, as it also states in chapter 12 of Tanya, is a time of Mochen the Gadlut, a time of sublime illumination in the upper world. Below, therefore, it is the time when every individual can respond to the call which the king issues to his subjects, if one is to receive the revelation which becomes possible at the time of prayer. That time needs to be utilized for meditation on the greatness of God. But if this meditation is to be fertile and give birth to a spiritual emotion of love and awe, it still needs to find its way into the worshipper's heart. This is the message of the following brief teaching of the Alter Rebbe. This is an expression of our sages, im kiyun libo. If one had proper intention, kivun libo, he has fulfilled his obligation. Now, kivun shares the root of the Aramaic kavin, meaning windows. Accordingly, the above quoted teaching of the sages and the Alter Rebbe read the following message. A man fulfills obligation during prayer only if he had made a window in his heart, so that the revelation that illuminates his mind during prayer will radiate its warmth into his heart. My beloved one, my brethren, I beg of you, friends who are beloved unto their Maker and hateful unto their evil inclination, do no wrong. Surely one should respect the wishes of his beloved and not of his enemy. Let no one make himself wicked before God during that 1 hour, i.e. the hour of prayer, that he has chosen of all day, so that people can congregate and stand before him during that hour. For this is an auspicious time for him to be revealed and to come into the miniature sanctuary, a synagogue, as a synagogue is called, and that's from in the Gemara Iggeres 29a, commenting on the Zikr 11:16. To visit Shekhinah of his glory that dwells with the Jewish people in the midst of their impurity, even in the impurity of exile, the divine presence abides among the Jewish people, and at the auspicious hour of prayer, the Almighty Himself comes, as it were, to visit the Shekhinah that abides constantly among His people, and to be accessible to those who seek Him and entreat Him and yearn for Him. At this auspicious time of prayer, he who speaks of his needs demonstrates he has no desire to contemplate and to behold the manifestation of God's majestic glory. Thus he becomes an impure chariot, a subservient vehicle to the supernal fool, i.e. to the Klippa, of whom it is said, the fool does not desire understanding, as it states in the Zohar by Rabbi Isaac, glory of blessed memory. This means that he has no desire to contemplate and to behold the glorious splendor of the greatness of the King of Kings, the Holy and Blessed be He, which becomes revealed at this hour above. For the hour of prayer is a propitious time above. It is also revealed below to those who earnestly desire to gaze upon His glory and greatness, which guards and vests itself in the words of the liturgy, which is known to all, and which becomes revealed to every individual according to his intellect and according to the root of his soul. As it is written, a man is praised, Yehulal, according to the measure of his intellect, and that's from Mishlei 12:8. As well, the word pronounced Yehalel. The verse would thus mean, a man prays according to the measure of his intellect, i.e. in proportion to his comprehension of God's greatness. Now the kingdom of heaven is similar to the kingdom on earth. And that's from the Gemara also in Brachos 58a. For it is customary for a king to have his might concealed in his innermost chambers with many guards at the doors, so that many people wait for the days and years, hoping to behold his might and glory. Now when he wishes to be seen by all, he proclaims throughout his kingdom that his subjects should assemble and stand before him, so that he can show them his majestic glory and his exalted splendor of his greatness. Whoever will stand before him and not care to see him, busying himself at that time with his own needs. How lowly, foolish, and senseless is he! He resembles an animal in the eyes of all. Moreover, it is a dishonor to the king when he demonstrates before him to have pleasure and delight from gazing upon his glory, and beauty is of no more esteem in his eyes than busying himself with his own needs. Moreover, it is a capital offense towards the king to exhibit how he disgraces and dishonors the king in the eyes of the public. Over this it is written in Mishlei 3:35, and fools raise the insult. This means to say that though he is a fool, he should not raise the insult, making it apparent to all, for this not only dishonors the king, but also constitutes a capital offense. For this reason, it says blasphemy ordained that with prayer one should conduct himself as if he is standing before the king. Now, if he is standing before the king, why do the sages say as if? This means at least he should make himself appear as if he is standing before the king, in sight of all who look with physical eyes at his actions and words. Even though a fool has no thought, although he does not have even an intellectual realization that while standing in prayer he is truly standing before the king. It was concerning this matter, the realization that one is standing before the king at the time that he appointed to reveal his glory to those who seek him, that all the prayers were instituted. As is evident to whoever meditates deeply upon them, but he does not show this realization is guilty of a capital offense. And of him it was said in the sacred Zohar that he brings disgrace into the supernal order and shows that he is separate from holiness and has no share in the God of Israel, heaven forfend. Therefore, declares the Alter Rebbe, I am hereby acting as an agent of our sage's blessed memory to enact a decree to apply equally to everyone. No idle talk is to be spoken from the moment the reader begins to recite the prayers until the end of the last Kaddish, Shachrit, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. And he who disobeys intentionally shall sit on the ground and beg of 3 people to release him from the supernal excommunication that results from disobeying a rabbinic decree. He should repent, resolving to change his ways, and he will be healed. Retroactively, no excommunication or whatever will have applied to him. For from the very outset it applied only to those who rebel and are willfully sinful, and who do not care at all to seek atonement as they ought from heaven and from man for this grievous sin. Also, this excommunication applies only when people speak deliberately and brazenly, but not to a person who forgets and unworthily uttered a few words, for he does not require a release from excommunication at all, and God, who is righteous, examines the hearts and the kidneys. He probes into man's inner integrity and is able to discern a deliberate offense from an unwitting one. Also, will conclude with a prayer. Be benevolent, O God, unto the good, I to those who refrain utterly from idle speech, and unto those who are upright in their hearts. I also to those whose hearts meant well, but from whose lips a few words inadvertently escaped. Thank you for listening. I wish you all the best. Bye.